right, everybody. Today on Black Geek Energy, we are thrilled to welcome the incredibly talented comic book writer Murewa Ayodele, known for his work on Marvel's new Storm comic and Iron Man, as well as acclaimed titles like Moonlight and Loki. Murewa has been making his mark with his unique storytelling and incredible character depth. Join us as we dive into his creative journey, his thoughts on the evolution of comics, and what's next for some of your favorite heroes. So let's give a warm welcome to Murewa Ayodele. Yay!
Yeah. Welcome to the
Thanks for
show.
having
We're
me,
so glad
guys.
to have you.
I'm
Uh,
happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So we want to start this episode off a little different than what we normally do, and like just have a moment where we can like get to know you. You can get to know
Mhm.
us because this is like our first date. We never met. So where are you from, Royal?
I'm from Nigeria in a
Mhm.
small town called Oshogbo. It's found in Osun State.
Okay.
It's named after a river goddess named Oshun
Ooh.
that is known for
Oh,
being a goddess of fertility and stuff. So a lot of people from all over the world come once a year to come and pray to her and stuff.
Oh, that's really
yeah.
dope. That's
I
really dope.
know Ocean from the, this is going to sound really ignorant and American, but I know Ocean from the Beyonce music video.
Yeah,
Mm.
she's a popular goddess. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
she is. An ex-girlfriend of mine was in an Elay and used to like worship Oshun and some of the other goddesses and some of the other Orishas. Is that Oshun
Yeah.
one of the Orishas? Or
Yeah, she's one of the Orishas.
yeah, okay, great. That was a few years ago at this point, but still, nice. So how long are you living in Nigeria now? Are you in the States?
Yeah, I live in Nigeria now.
Oh, nice. So how is it, I guess, how is it working with Marvel and living in Nigeria? Do they have like offices out
It's
there? Is it real simple or is it like
no,
does it
it's the logistics of it is pretty easy. That means I just work from home most of the time,
yeah.
emails, conversations, Zoom calls, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But the psychological effect of it is pretty weird because sometimes I'm like taking a walk, maybe I'm trying to like come up with story ideas, and
Mhm.
I literally see like chickens and goats like strolling the streets, and I'm like, I'm writing about Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm literally walking around with goats and chickens. Like, no
Yeah.
one is going to believe this story. Like, I'm sure like nobody next to me believes like this guy is writing about like characters and stuff taking place in the United States and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you have the issues to prove it. We're both from Atlanta, actually. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, and I was reading the Storm number one earlier, and it was in Atlanta. I was like, oh, I like it already. I'm invested. Have you ever been to Atlanta?
No, no. I've only been out of the country a couple of times.
Hmm.
One was to Togo, which is in West Africa. The
Hmm.
other was to Israel.
Ooh.
At the time I had an health challenge, and that was the only facility that could attend to my health challenge at that point in
Oh,
time.
You
okay,
should
very
come
cool.
visit Atlanta one time. You should
Yeah, I
definitely
hope
make
they
that.
give. I gave up because I think I tried applying to one of the Western countries once, and when I got rejected,
Mm.
I just lost hope. And the rejection was annoying because I wanted to go for a Comic Con, and they're like, we don't think you would come back. We think you are trying to be an illegal immigrant, so we're not going to give it to
What?
you.
That's
That's
horrible.
nuts.
So,
That's crazy.
so ever since then, I kind of like gave up on the whole thing, like, you know what, F you, I'll stay in my
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
So, but maybe I mean, were you writing for Marvel at that time? Were you trying to go to the Comic Con?
No, not yet. I wasn't writing for
Oh,
Marvel yet.
okay.
I think now they'll probably believe me if I say I'm just going to go for a Comic Con.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they should have believed you before. That's messed up.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, okay.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
How does, because I know you have a girlfriend, a beautiful girlfriend. So, what is the dating life in Nigeria like over there? Because, I'm in America. I know nothing about the dating life over here.
Mm.
So what's it like in Nigeria?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm a complete nerd, so I'm terrible at that. I literally had to go for the last results by using dating apps and shit.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
yeah, and before I met my girlfriend, I went through like the whole bunch of crazies you meet on dating apps and
Mm.
all the old things. Yeah, so especially the catfishes, when you
Yeah.
Mm.
see, this beautiful young thing, and then you show up and you're like, wait, this looks nothing
Like,
like
whoa,
what I
whoa,
saw in the
whoa.
picture.
Like this picture from 2 years ago? What are we? What's going on here?
2 years ago, this is somebody else entirely.
Wow, my pictures are from 2 years ago. I need to change that
Yeah, no,
expeditiously.
keep those updated. 6 months at most.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I'm sure your girlfriend knows that you're a comic book writer for the infamous Storms. Did she know about Storm before meeting you or?
She's not into comics like that. I'm the one like
Mm.
introducing her into like all this Marvel stuff and anime and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I'm still like winning her over bit by bit. I think the only anime she'll watch now is Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
I think the only Marvel character she's gotten into yet is still Spider-Man. So it's bit by bit.
Spider-Man's a
Okay.
good one.
Okay.
Mm.
Spider-Man is one of my
And it's
favorites.
not even like all the Spider-Man, it's basically Spider-Verse.
Oh,
Miles
okay.
Morales was what
Okay.
sold out on it. Then after she got into Miles Morales, and like, okay, you know what? I'll try Peter Parker out.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But man, like geeks are in now. Like I think like growing up being a geek was not cool, but now as an adult, I feel like we have like the edge in the dating game. Like everybody wants to date like an anime nerd or something like
Eh,
that.
that's the other thing. I think it was the reverse here in
Yeah?
Nigeria. Yeah, I think being a geek was always cool because
Okay.
that means you were like sophisticated. The difference,
Mm.
Mm.
the difference is this, you know, if you're a geek here, that means you're reading American comics
Hmm.
or you're reading Japanese comics. So it's like, oh, you're this high class person that can afford like read foreign stuff.
Okay.
So you're probably more of the wealthier class, or some of these things. So it's it's a different feel. So
Okay.
like some of like the older people I know like that are in like their 40s, 50s
Hmm.
that are into comics, most of them all came from rich families. So that kind of
Mm.
thing. Because that's the
Okay.
only way that's the only way they could get all their Walt Simonson books and all those kind of stuff. So it's a little different. So I think my best friend also acted as an artist. I think, when the cool kids slash rich kids come to school and they're like, I have Superman, I have stacks of this, they instantly become like, everybody like surrounds them like, yeah, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
I think it's more of a flex here than
Yeah.
it's.
Because it's
I
not
don't. You're
it
not
wasn't a
looked
flex over
down.
here.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you reading a comic book? Get that out of here. Slap it out your hand.
Nerd. So you said you like anime. So what are some of your favorite animes? Or
I
or
just got
or
into.
or what animes are you watching right now?
I'm watching this one. There's only 2 episodes in on Crunchyroll, Da Da Dan or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Okay. Haven't started it.
yeah
Okay.
it's really cool. Frieren, the journey there.
Ooh, I love
It's
that
DeMarcus
really
one.
cool right
loves
now.
that one. I can't get into it, and I tried.
No, no, I think it plays with your expectations of those kind of stories.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It starts off, you think it's supposed to be like this epic fantasy story, but it's the aftermath of it. So
Yeah.
once you can connect to the fact that despite the fact that she's all emotionless and stuff, she's living a pretty sad life because all her friends are basically dead slash dying.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
you see how she's trying to relive the moments she had with them, the little time she had with them, and it becomes really emotional.
Hmm.
And it gets to a stage, they're not like, psych, it was an action fantasy all along. And then they start doing all the old stuff, and then it gets really dope,
Yeah.
when they start going for all those
Yeah.
exams and things. So it does. even though it subverts your expectations at the beginning, it does eventually meet those expectations. So
Okay.
if you don't get into it at the beginning, feel free to skip ahead and you would still like it's moving on.
Yeah.
Solo Leveling Hero is nice right now.
Love solo
Hmm. Hmm.
leveling.
Kaiju number eight. Kaiju number
Okay.
eight. It's the way it started out, I was like, oh, this is so similar to Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Mm. It
But
was.
then, but yeah, but very quickly it had its own separate tone. It became more fun, funny, lively, and started doing its own different things. And I just liked it. I like the entire concept. It's very badass. It's very well paced.
Mhm.
It's and those cliffhangers at the end of each episode, killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're very good. Demon Slayer is still pretty good. My
Hmm.
Hero Academia is still pretty good.
Now, those are
Yeah,
the
those
two
are the ones like
crybaby animes, Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia, because those protagonists is always crying, crying, crying. Now, I
yeah,
know
but
Demon Slayer is a little, Demon Slayer
but
is a
I think
little,
My Hero Academia has no competition. Demon Slayer it doesn't cry as much as My Hero Academia.
Demon Slayer doesn't cry as much. Really?
As My Hero Academia. Yeah, My Hero Academia
Mm.
cries like almost like every freaking episode. And in that episode, like five different people are like crying, like, oh, you
You
betrayed
right.
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
But yeah, nah. Like I won't tolerate any Demon Slayer slander. I love My Hero Academia,
Ah,
but they cry a way
right.
lot more. A way lot more.
Yeah. You also said solo leveling, and I love solo leveling. When they announced it, I was like, "What's this about?" So I read the manhwa, and that got me interested in a lot of other Korean manhwa. It is all the same thing. It's like a portals open, monsters come out, uh, people have
Mm.
archetypes and job classes, and the main character summons things, but I like them all. Like Auto Hunting for Clones,
Yeah.
Solo Necromancer.
Mhm.
I can't stop reading these same comics with the same premise and the same storyline.
And what I love about all those kind of stories is stories that if someone tells you the plot, you're like, oh, it's going to get old real quick. Like, oh, it's
Hmm.
going to get boring real quick. Like, you're like, this is just a video game. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to get tired of it. And these people find creative ways to to make it still interesting. That's what fascinates me, especially as a writer. Like,
Mhm.
Right.
because like I get to points when I'm watching some stuff and I'm like, how are you this good?
Yes,
So
yes.
so I tend to enjoy some of this stuff, like both as a fan and as a writer as well,
Hmm.
trying to like because as you're watching this stuff, you're also breaking down the story components. You're like, oh yeah, you're doing this so that I can feel this emotion and other stuff. But it gets up like, how are you able to like from this premise, how are you able to keep things this interesting? And that's why I like Friaring, especially at the beginning. Like everybody tells the story of the journey of,
Hmm.
oh, these heroes went on this epic journey. And then at the end, after they beat Sauron,
Hmm.
the end. Who starts the story after they beat Sauron? Like, how do
Right.
you start a story that way? So that was the big respect and flex I had for them. Like, you know what? I want to see how you go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like free, we do see a lot of like the same story, like the same kind of story being told over and over. But I really enjoy when like they, like you said, they find a creative way to like spin it to make it like different than everything else you've ever seen. Because I got to be honest, I'm getting tired of isekai. I'm getting tired of isekai anime where you like, oh, like Journey to Another World, second time being summoned to his world. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm tired of heroes in another world. Do something else.
yeah. Mhm. Although
So,
so far I'm still slightly enjoying that time I got reincarnated as a slime. But it's
Mm.
starting to wane on me. But
Yeah.
at least that's still my favorite so far. There's one about a guy that goes and has a spider chick and a dragon chick. I'm not
Yo,
really,
that's
really
the same.
liking that.
That's the exact same show. That's the
yeah,
exact
It's the
same
same
show if
show.
you ask me.
It's the same show.
I love
Yeah.
them all. I don't know what the Marcus is talking about. So tell me, what other nerd stuff do you do as a self-proclaimed nerd? Do you play video games or Dungeons and Dragons, or watch any fun TV or movies?
Oh, very early on, I swore off video games because they were ruining my lives.
Mhm.
Because it's to me, video games were like cocaine. Like
Yeah.
I loved the heck out of them. And I, even though I didn't have access to a lot of them, anyone I had access to, I played them non-stop, everything. I loved Mortal Kombat on Sega, Sonic on Sega. There's this
Hmm.
one about Tank on Nintendo. Uh, different stuff. Those were the ones I had access to. Like video games were so important in my life that when I told you I had a medical condition when I was young, that I had to travel to
Hmm.
Israel. I was actually very young, and my the doctors told my parents that yeah, I was going to die at 5 years old,
Oh my
and I was
God.
4 years old.
Gee.
So it was that close, and they could not afford it. So how are they going to get the money and things like that? So they eventually had to like look beg around, and eventually they got sponsorship from the government.
Hmm.
The wife of a governor was holding like a children's program, so they snuck in, and dad dad is a writer by passion, so he
Hmm.
wrote this passionate letter and asked my sister to give the woman. The security almost stopped her, but the woman was like, okay, let me have the letter. And then she read it and she cried while reading it and said she was going to sponsor me. So corruption stuff, some people took part of the money, blah, blah, blah. But when
Hmm.
the money got to me and I was supposed to fly to Israel, they have time dates and all those stuff because there are a bunch of people that are going to go on that for that operation.
Hmm.
I was basically dying faster than they hoped. And that was because it was a heart problem. And I was a very active child.
Hmm.
So I was basically killing myself by playing too hard.
Hmm.
So they needed a way to like pin me down to like not play as much.
Yeah.
And once they discovered that, oh, this guy loves video game, they're like, we're just buying him any fucking game he wants. And that was also I sat my ass down. So basically they got me video games to basically even save my lives. That's how much I loved them. And but it got to a stage, I think I had an uncle that got me a PlayStation 2, but it
Hmm.
was already getting, I think people were already having PlayStation 3 at that time. And I think I played Lord of the Rings. I was playing all night, crazy stuff. Um, then I got to the university, and then I found out that, because all my siblings are way older than I am.
Hmm.
So I was always playing alone. All of a sudden, I discovered Need for Speed, where on our laptops we like connect on via a network and we can all
Hmm.
play. So finally, I was having to experience like playing with other people. So
Hmm.
it got to see that like I would going around dorm rooms, like who wants to play Need for Speed.
Yeah.
When they're like done, and like, look, guy, I'm tired. I go to another room, I go to another room, I go to another room. Like I was like a bomb, like going from
Yeah.
room to room playing Need for Speed. And I was like, um, at this rate, I don't think I'm going to graduate. I think I'm going to fail out of school. So
Wow.
so I had to like stop, like, you know what, like no more, like no more. And I've not been able to get into it yet. So maybe at some point I'll get into video games. But yeah, I had video games. Cartoons are my jam.
Hmm.
Anime are my jam. Movies, all the stuff, and comic books, manga. Read webtoons, Law Olympus. Some of these boy
Yeah.
love stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Different things. So it's mostly shows and comics.
Wow.
No, that's
What?
man, that's a really cool story,
I
man. And
know.
you have to I don't know if I were you and video games saved my life, no one would be able to pull me off a video game.
I
Like
know.
like the only reason I'm here is because of these games. You're not stopping me. That's crazy. But
But
I
you
feel
will be getting Storm scripts. You will be getting Storm scripts because I will be playing video games all day.
yeah.
Wow.
I feel like we all went through that phase because I think I was in like middle school and like I would play video games. Like I would wake up Saturday morning, like 8 a.m., like earlier than I wake up for school and play video games all day. I would only leave my room to like eat and use the bathroom.
Mm.
My mom is like, "What are you doing all day?" I'm like, "Mom, like, I'm almost done with this game. Like I'm halfway through."
Yeah, same with me with Final Fantasy. 8 and 7. You couldn't get me out of my room. And when we would go to South Carolina to go to my grandma's house, you couldn't get me out of my grandma's room. She was upset at me. She had to, one time they even had to take all the TVs out of the house, every last one. So I couldn't play video games. And that was a horrible, horrible time for me. And yeah, but I definitely understand that video games saved your life and then you just abandoned them. Oh my goodness.
Maybe I'll go back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
And
and
so,
when you go back, you have a lot of great games to catch up on. A lot of great games. You said the PlayStation 2 was your last system?
Yes.
Yeah, you
mm.
got a lot to catch up on.
I feel like PlayStation 2 was like the one of the best. I don't think anything has been, I don't think any game system has come out that was like as good as PlayStation 2 was when they came out.
Mm,
But yeah. You
maybe, maybe.
wanna-
All right. On
Oh, I
this,
had one more question.
oh, go
Murewa,
ahead.
you said that you had gotten that it was a governess that sponsored you. Are you still in touch with her? Do you still talk to her?
No, it was like a one-time thing. Like
Ah,
even
fair
when
enough.
she gave even when she gave the money out, it wasn't
Mhm.
directly to my parents, it was through some people. That's why I said that corruption stuff, we only even got
Ah,
part of the money because some people still took part of the money. Like if you want to get the money, you have to pay me part of this money, stuff like that.
fair enough. Yeah, a little finder's fee, I guess. Pay the middleman.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Okay. On this episode, we always give a shout out to one of our sponsors, MoviePass, and we tell people what they can watch, play, experience in all the media that is, you know, experienceable. So, the
mhm.
Marcus, can you please tell them about MoviePass right quick?
Absolutely, absolutely. MoviePass is a subscription-based service that allows us to watch multiple movies in theaters for a monthly fee. I just used it to go see the new My Hero Academia movie.
Oh, how was it?
It was pretty good. I wasn't bad at all. I'm not mad at it. I think my only issue is that they do what they always do with anime movies is that they really like exaggerate the powers, they exaggerate the characters, and I'm like I'm watching Yorozu like make cannons and guns and stuff, and I'm like she specifically said in the anime she can't do that because she
Yeah,
doesn't understand how they work and it's too complicated. But
yeah.
whatever. It was still a good movie. It's
Okay.
a nice story. Somebody trying to like replace All Might. But Movie Pass was designed to make movie going easier. So, for that, I pay, Movie Pass grants us a subscription. So I didn't pay any money out my pocket to go see that movie. And y'all can do the same thing. So just go ahead and look up the Movie Pass app on your iPhones, Androids, whatever you have.
On this Put You On segment, I am going to put you on to one of Mariwa's books, which I
Mm.
loved. I haven't finished it, but I have loved it. It is called Gun, and I actually cannot explain it. So, Maria, can you explain Gun for all of our listeners?
Okay, Akuku Brutalizer of Gods is like the African version of Conan the Barbarian.
Mm.
While Western stories focus on like warriors, in a lot of African mythology, we focus on hunters, and they're the ones that go exploring the wild jungles to like battle strange creatures and see strange phenomena. And I want to like merge all that kind of storytelling, that sword and sorcery storytelling, with African mythology, like the Orishas. And
Hmm.
so it's Conan the Barbarian meets like African god of war. So you have the story
Ooh.
of like Obatala, the god of creation, that is a drunk god,
Mhm.
and is this petty god that has it in against all the other gods. And his ultimate weapon against all the gods is Akwagun, the brutalizer of gods. And you get to follow that story.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
Nice.
in issue 2 of Gun, uh, there's a pretty graphic sex scene. So when you were describing this sex scene to like the editors, what did they say? Did you have to tone it down a little or like what was that conversation like?
I, I'm not sure because in the script it seemed pretty graphic, but I think they underestimated it. So it was when the art came in and they're like, fuck no. I was like, I was like, we it's in the script. And I'm like, you told us this is going to be like R-rated, go all out, no holds barred,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but we didn't mean this. They're like, sorry, it's too late. It's too late, guys. We gotta do this. They're like, what if you crop it? I'm like, sorry, man.
Wow.
We have to leave it. And I like, it's your funeral.
Wow. Well, what they left in was still graphic enough. Um, but yeah, we are going to take a quick break and come right back with the creator of Storm Number One, Murewa Ayodele. BGE commercial? It's Jared here, and before we go more in depth with our geeky discussions, I want to talk to you about something important. Life's an epic quest, full of twists and turns. But guess what? We got a partner for you in this adventure, BetterHelp. You heard it right. BetterHelp.com will connect you with a licensed therapist who gets it. Whether you're battling real life feelings or just need someone to chat with, BetterHelp is your quest guide. So, fellow geeks, go to betterhelp.com/BGEpod. As a listener, you get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/BGEpod. Because leveling up your mental health is just as important as saving the universe. BetterHelp, because even heroes need support.
And welcome back to the greatest show, the greatest podcast you will ever listen to, Black Geek Energy. We are joined today by Murewa, the writer of Storm, the Storm comic for Marvel. And we're so glad to have him on the show. And as we always do, we're going to start off with a game, with a quick activity.
Oh, Lord.
Jerry, you always have these kind of reactions, but you know how this goes. But for everyone else, the way this goes, DeMarcus comes up with the games. He creates the rules. He is the judge, jury, and executioner of all games. He decides who's the winners, losers, right answers, wrong answers, etc., and so on, forever and forever.
Mm.
So today, what we're playing is what we're gonna call this game, this or that. We've played it before, and I'll read a little bit about how this one works. I established two categories. Then I'll read a number of facts that fall into either category, and it'll be up to the contestants, Murewa and Jared, to figure out which category these things fall in. The categories today are going to be Storm and Thor. Storm is Jared's favorite character. Murewa, you write Storm, so this should be easy for y'all.
Okay.
um, yeah. Any questions before we
I
get
mean,
started?
it sounds easy, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know how
So
these games go.
So I'm actually gonna read quotes from either Storm or Thor, and they could be from movies, comic books, or TV shows. And you'll have to just decide whether this quote belongs to Storm or whether it belongs to Thor.
Now, hold
Oh,
up.
it's
Wait a
going to
minute.
be
No, no.
that's going to be hard. Let's
This is
see.
going
Let's
to be
try. It sounds
very
fun.
hard.
It's
I
going to
don't
be
think
very hard.
so. I don't think so.
It's going to be very hard.
I feel
Storm.
like
Like most store dialogues, if you put a female voice, they sound a little like stuff.
and
Wow.
I think that was so. So I did it this way so it would be a little challenging, but it's going to start off easy. And I think the things that Storm and Thor say, like I agree with you. Like you can change Thor's voice to female or Storm's voice to male, and
Yeah.
it can go either way. But I think Storm always mentions like nature and the elements, where Thor is always going to mention like gods and like divine power and Asgard. So let's just give it a shot. Let's just see how it goes.
All right.
All right. So I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Um, Jared, what's your guess?
4.
Okay, Murewa.
6.
The number was 7. So Murewa, you're going first. All right. The first quote: "Where I go, the storm follows, and I bring the wrath of the gods with me."
Oh, that's stuff.
That's definitely Thor. Exactly. See, not as hard as we made it out to be. Jared, the second one is for you.
Okay.
I summoned the full power of the storm.
Storm.
That is Storm. Okay. See,
Okay.
see,
Okay.
y'all got it. A breath of relief.
Yeah.
All right.
For
All right.
now.
Murewa, we're back to you. Let's see. It goes, I choose to run toward my problems and not away from them because that's what heroes do.
Sounds like Thor.
That is Thor. Man, y'all on it. Y'all on it. I made
Okay.
this too easy, is what I'm hearing. So,
Okay.
all right. Number 4. Jared, this one's for you. I serve Earth. I do not rule it. Is that
Oh,
Storm or Thor?
that's Storm.
Okay. How did you know that?
Because it said that she does not rule it. Storm's not a
Mm.
ruler of Earth. Now, if it was
Hmm.
Mars, that would be more.
Or maybe Thor would have said Midgard.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Thor
you
was saying.
absolutely right.
Mhm.
Okay, that was the giveaway there. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, number 5, Morevo. I will never be controlled by my fear. I control the storm, and it will not control me.
I think that's Storm.
That's definitely Storm. Nice.
Ah, I would have got that one wrong.
All right, number 6, Jared. Uh, you may be used to the power you wield, but I am accustomed to the power of the storm.
Wow. You may be used to the power that you wield, but I am
Hmm.
accustomed to the power of the storm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Thor.
Jared, that was
Okay.
Storm, man. That was Storm. You should have known
Uh,
better.
I would have I would have gotten you wrong too, I think.
Yeah.
Because you said
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first 5 were easy though.
that
Like the first 5, y'all like knocked them out. We got
yeah.
to turn it up a notch. All right,
Okay, okay.
number 7. I am not some mere mortal who can be defeated so easily.
That sounds like a trick one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Because neither of them consider themselves mere mortals.
Let me take the risk and say Storm.
Man, you on it. You are on it. That's why they got you writing
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Right.
Crazy. I would have
All
got that
right.
one wrong too.
Jared, number 8. Uh, to challenge me is to challenge the might of the heavens themselves.
It could be either one.
I mean,
I'm
it's only
gonna
2 categories, so technically you're right.
I'm gonna say Storm.
Let's see. That one was Thor, Jared.
Ah,
You're letting Aurora down.
I know. I
All
know.
right. Number 9, Morewa, you got him shook. You got this in the bag. No matter how dark the world may become, there is always a glimmer of hope within me.
Hmm.
Can you repeat it?
Sure, absolutely. No matter how dark the world may become, there is always a glimmer of hope within me.
Hmm, this is a tough one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's number 9. It's got to be a tough one. There are only 10 questions.
Hmm? Ah, okay. It's a world, Abby. No matter how dark the world becomes,
No matter how dark the world may become.
I'm going to get this wrong, but let me say Thor. But
That's right. It is Thor from Thor number 344. Man,
Wow.
you've been on it. You haven't gotten one wrong, Morewa. All right, Jared, number 10. Last question.
Wow. Okay.
You mustn't fear the unknown. You must conquer it.
Okay. Who were they talking to?
Uh, I don't know. I do not have that detail for you. I'm sorry.
You mustn't fear the unknown, you must conquer it. I'm gonna say Thor.
That was actually Storm, Jared. All right, and that's the end of the game. Murewa, you are our winner, 5-2.
Yeah.
I think I
Jared,
was just lucky.
I think you know, man. I think you know. Is there a lot of like was there any like I guess like prep work or like research you had to do to start writing Storm? Or did they just say, all right, go ahead. Here's what you're writing about, get started.
Um, a little of both.
Okay.
Because when I got the email for Storm, it came with a disclaimer saying that this is a little unusual, but
Hmm.
there were some things that had already been predetermined by
Mm.
Marvel that if I want to change it, I have to raise like a pretty strong point against it, which
Hmm.
will probably still be a no. And that was number one, she was going to be based in Atlanta. Number two, she was going to be involved in international politics.
Hmm.
Number three, she's now an Avenger, and a couple of other things that might be spoilers.
Okay.
Mm.
And so I had that, then go. So
Oh,
and then I had to start doing research all the way from Jan size X-Men,
yeah.
all not reading every book, but trying
Yeah.
to read some key stories and some that you like. And there are some you start reading, so you're like, oh God, why did I choose to be a comic book? Why did I choose to be a comic book writer? This is really hard to get into, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some are like digging it, you're like, oh yeah, this is nice, this is nice. And the funny thing about research sometimes is that so you would expect that the fun comics are the ones that will inspire you, that you get story inspirations from.
Hmm.
Sometimes not really. Sometimes you just enjoy it. And sometimes it's the bad ones that you're like, oh my God, this is so terrible, that actually inspire you because you're like, I bet I can take some of this premise and do something better with it. And sometimes it's the good stuff. You're like, oh my, this is so good. We need to bring this back. So
Yeah.
so you never know where the inspiration would take you, aside from other projects and stuff like that. So, for example, like um in Storm, I like the name, and I wanted to
Hmm.
play around with some stuff with the name. So I think at some point I wanted um Nova.
Hmm.
I wanted Storm to wear Nova's helmet, and so that our name will be called Nova Storm.
Oh. Okay.
I,
Okay.
I had some strange stuff like that before I discovered the whole Eternity connection and all. So I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Eternal Storm is better. I'll go with Eternal Storm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I just finished reading number one, and I saw that at the end of it. The Eternal Storm, like Eternal saying, like you're
Yeah.
chosen, you're worthy. That's pretty. I was like, that was a twist. I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, I'm ready to read the next one now.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah. Okay. So they don't tell you to do research when they give you the comic. They just, I guess, it's just expected that you do your
Yeah.
own research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's expected.
Nice. Okay, very cool. I feel like that would not be the it's not the industry for me because I would just it's like if I don't feel like reading it, I'm not doing it.
Um, but you did this and it has, that one eternity callback when Doctor Strange put eternity in the Storm's mind. That was
Mhm.
I was jumping up and down. I was like, he's gonna do this? Like, oh my God.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even though I don't know what's about to happen, this is a spoiler cast for um uh issue one of your comic book, Storm number one. But the opening scene, the first page, we are in a place that we have never been before, that we have only dreamt about, and that is Storm's closet. Please
Hmm.
tell
Hmm.
us, like, you blessed us with putting us in there, but like, please tell us, like, like, what was the inspiration that we finally get to see Storm's amazing two-story closet? All her costumes are in here, all her headpieces are in there. So, like, what was the peek behind the scenes of the goddess herself that, you felt that we should be blessed with seeing the inside of her closet?
Yeah, there are multiple inspirations for that. Um, the first one is something that I've always had a back and forth with Marvel on like previous other projects. Um, I'm the guy that when I was working on like Avengers Infinity comics, those like vertical scroll comics,
Hmm.
I want to give like the characters a bunch of different costumes. And I like they have like costumes already wearing this stuff, and I like, yeah, but I want to give them new ones too, you know. A- And that's because of uh I used to date this girl in college, and I got her into this MTV cartoon Daria,
Ah,
you
I
know,
love Daria.
and and I binged the entire thing, and then I got her into it, and then she was enjoying it, and she was always talking about the show, and suddenly she just stopped. Ah, why did you stop? And she was like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of the fact that they're all wearing the same thing every day. Like,
Oh.
I'm done. And sometimes there are some things that you didn't mind, but then
Hmm.
someone says it, and then before you know
Mm.
it, you're now conscious of it. So every single time I watch cartoons, I watch shows, and it's not enough for me to stop watching anything, but I get conscious of it to like change clothes now, change designs, and
Hmm.
so that's one. The other aspect is you're reading this cool comic, and they tell you that Spider-Man is going on this mission with Shield, and they give him this suit that can turn invisible, and cool stuff,
Hmm.
and he wears this wonderful suit on this great mission,
Hmm.
and then 3 issues later he needs to get into Kingpin's lair, and he wears his bright red and blue costume. I'm like, what happened to the stealth suit he wore 3 issues ago?
Yeah.
Why? What are we doing here? Again, so look at Iron Man. Iron Man has developed a lot of crazy suits in the past.
Hmm.
And because you want to tell a story, you say, oh, Hulk and Thor, fight Iron Man and they beat him super easy. And you're like, dude, this guy has had busters that are probably still sitting in his closet somewhere. So
Yeah.
I was like, I always want to play around with like all these costumes. Look at in Moon Knight's run, you had this bone armor that used to fight ghosts.
Yes.
That
Hmm.
costume looks pretty dang cool,
Yeah.
and nobody brought it back. I'm like, why won't you bring it back? You know, so when they asked me to write like Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, a short story, I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm bringing that costume back.
Yeah.
So so things like that. So it's something I also wanted to do for Storm. It's
Hmm.
like she's going to have multiple looks here, and we're going to see looks come and go. You know, she's going to have like the Eternal Storm look. She's going to
Hmm.
have the white jumpsuits that we like. She's going to have that look in issue 2. She's going to have the black costume that we see in this first issue. She's going to
Hmm.
have an armor that she wears when things get rough.
Oh, that
So
that sounds dope.
yeah, so she's going to have those looks. We're going to see them come in different situations where necessary, you know, just so that things are always fresh and
Yeah.
interesting. It's not just the same white, the same black costume over and over again, over and over
Yeah.
again. And sometimes, you know what, she might just wear casual wear.
Yeah.
A lot of our favorite Wolverine looks are just him wearing a shirt.
Mm.
Right. Because she's still, at the
So
end of the day, she's still a person too. She's not always
yeah,
superheroing.
so
So,
that opening page is also a statement to say,
mm,
get used to seeing this character in multiple looks.
yes.
It's a so that's number one. That's the statement.
Yeah.
It's to set the mood that she's been so many things in the past, and
Mm,
we're going to make her so many things in this run. And also to say this is a new status quo. she is super rich now, super
Mm.
rich,
Oh,
super powerful.
yeah.
Want to find out how she became this, read this story. So
Okay.
those are the multiple jobs that single page does.
Yeah,
Nice.
you say in this comic, and let me turn to it, that she has been a queen, a regent, an X-Men, an Avenger, but you also mentioned she has been a thief, a leader. And in this comic book alone, she wears five looks. One is a pantsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Mm-hmm.
that statement is, profound throughout this book, but like when you look back at the storm, history, um, do the different costumes mean anything to you, or do you feel something differently when you see some of these costumes that she wears?
Um, in in the past, you've seen Storm also take different roles.
Hmm.
Even like when she's a leader, when she's experimenting, like in the punk look, for example, she's without power, she's experimenting more, she's trying to figure out life. Um, she's also still a leader to when she's wearing the jumpsuits.
Hmm.
She's more of this godlike figure where she's wearing that black costume by David Cockrum, where she
Hmm.
was still taken from Kenya. She's still more of the Kenyan girl in America that doesn't know much of America, that once in a while she might just walk out nude and they're like, no, we don't walk around nude here. And it's something that's represented different phases of our life, but also in this particular story, those costumes actually also represent different things that she's trying to achieve. Like, for example, in issue 2, when she's going to be playing a more combative role, she wears the white jumpsuits, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if you see the previews, when she's about to dive down, she lets go of the cape so that she can do hand to hand. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I've always wondered, like, oh yeah, I love her costume, I love her cape. But if you're doing hand to hand, it's very easy to grab your cape. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
when she's going full battle, she can let go of the cape in the white costume. In the black costume, it's more of I'm a superhero, I'm an
Hmm.
Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more majestic and less brutal. In the Eternal Storm thing, it's like more cosmic, like the way you see the Phoenix, and also it's more cosmic. So when you see the zone, you're dead. And when it's the armor, that man, shit has gone wrong.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
so it's that thing. It's as a superhero, I think you play multiple roles,
Hmm.
and in a lot of comics, we've turned that into just meaning, oh, you fight bad guys,
Yeah.
and that's not just what heroes mean. Like in issue 1, there is no bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what we expect in every issue 1 is, oh, who's your main villain? Give us the introduction.
Hmm.
Who does it fight? She fights no one in issue 1. There's no bad guy. There's nothing. And those are the different aspects of heroism I want to explore. You know, the choices you make.
Hmm.
Saving people during natural disasters. Yes, fighting bad guys too. Oh, the attention you seek when you're that powerful. You know, there's this thing that DC used to say then, back then when they were trying to do, is it Forever Evil or something,
Hmm.
where it's about, did the hero come first, or is it the villain? Is it that the villain came first and the heroes came to fight them, or the heroes were just so powerful and declared themselves, and the villains came and said, I want to challenge that. You know,
Yeah.
just the fact that Storm is in Atlanta, just the fact that this goddess says, I have made this place my new home,
Hmm.
dare to question it. There are some people that are going to be like, you know what, I want to try to do to so those aspects of being a hero, we're going to exploit the type of conflicts you get there. The people that just want to challenge you for challenging's sake, the people that want to negotiate with you, natural disasters, villains, and
Hmm.
everything. And there's some bad guys that they don't even have grudge against you. Like pirates just trying to steal money and just have to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's all those aspects of superheroism that we plan to explore in the series.
That's cool. And I love how much thought you put into it. It's because you mentioned she's wearing like a cape at one point, but she lets it go because she's gonna do hand to hand. It's super easy to grab capes. And I've always like thought about that, like watching TV growing up and watching superheroes, almost like especially when you look at Superman, like Superman's fighting this person. Why doesn't the person just like grab his cape and slam him? Like what is like they have a lot of times superheroes have like these extra like very like flamboyant costumes that like wouldn't that get in the way? Like those big spikes on your shoulder, can you see anything when you turn your head?
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned that there's no villain that is introduced in this comic book, but there are several conflicts that are introduced, including the
Hmm.
big one, the huge conflict, which I think is going to have repercussions throughout, the X-Men line, is that she has to choose between letting the people know that it was a mutant who caused it, or letting them continue on with the propaganda that it was a alien who caused it,
Hmm.
alien research that caused it. This was a big, like, I'm reading this, I'm like, what is she gonna decide? Like I know that she's gonna be noble and decisive. I'm like, but the whole mutant population needs you to
Yeah.
say it was an alien. Like, so
That
I'm
was a
like,
that was a big deal. I
that
was
was
like,
a
I read that like,
Hmm.
oh shit, like, and I felt like I knew Storm before reading that portion. I was like, I know she's gonna do the right thing. She's gonna tell the truth. But then thinking about where mutants are right now in the world, and that like
exactly,
a lot of them have been like cast out somewhere. It's
Like,
like
I won't blame you if you didn't, talk.
exactly. It's like, hey, like look out for your people.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Especially because Storm was such an integral part of defeating Orcus. And
Mhm.
so I'm thinking that like she doesn't want any more of that hate on her. But when you were coming up with that scenario, did you have in mind the conflict that we were gonna have reading it, or like, because that was crazy going through those couple of pages.
Right, stressing
Yeah,
me out.
yeah. That's the funny thing about that issue. That issue was supposed to be an issue 5. It's
Oh.
there were like different stories, or they're supposed to happen like issue 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
And in Marvel, issue 5 is like where you kind of like make your statement, like
Mhm.
this is issue 1, yes, you make a statement like this is what your series is about. But issue 5 is where you make your second statement of what your series is really, really about. Because
Hmm.
when you get an
Mhm.
ongoing, it's basically 5 issues first. And once the sales are good, everything is good, and then you get that full extension. And most readers also say, they'll give you 3 issues, they give you 5 issues,
Mhm.
before they know if they will drop the book and everything. So it's supposed to be the 5th issue where you see this conflict, But my best friend Dotun read it, Tom Rivers read it, and they were both like, dude, make it your issue 1.
Oh,
This
man.
this dilemma is so freaking good not to put it as your number 1. So, and I'm glad I listened to them.
Yeah.
It's something that's always been in my mind, because people talk a lot about there's this question I've always had when I was getting introduced into Marvel Comics.
Mhm.
And that's, you love the Avengers, you like superheroes, you like all the stuff, but you hate mutants. Why? It doesn't make sense. Like, it
Mhm.
doesn't make any freaking sense.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you talk about discrimination, they are more powerful. Like, yeah, but superhumans have all that characteristics too. And
Right.
some people give the um answer of, oh, it doesn't make sense. And that's why it's bigotry, because bigotry doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense. Because in real world, people that are bigots, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, that's also, I don't like when people try to trivialize bigotry as
Yeah.
though people are just senseless. Like,
Mhm.
people genuinely go out of their way to cook up stories about another group to justify it.
Mhm.
Bigotry is not,
Exactly.
they say it as if it's just foolishness. Like, oh, people are just foolish. That's why they think, oh, a black person is inferior or something. People go out
Hmm.
of their way to erase history books. They go out of their way to do like serious, like they come up with good reasons. Like I'm on Twitter sometimes, I just see somebody post maybe like a black person committing this great act of violence, and then they put one provocative tag there, talking about black people and crazy stuff like that, as though another race has never committed any great acts of violence.
Right.
And yeah, and yeah, like that person to that person, there's a reason. They give reasons. They make it sound logical. It's not like, oh, I just woke up one day, I chose to hate somebody. They choose reasons. So
Hmm.
what are this world's reasons for hating mutants?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the fact that they are unlike superheroes where their powers gradually grow,
Hmm.
or you get bitten by a radioactive spider, you know, you wake up one day, or your hand can stick to the wall, bit by bit
Yeah.
you get super strength, bit by bit you keep increasing, you get this power creep. But mutants, it is all of a sudden, especially as a kid, not as a responsible adult, as a kid,
Hmm.
suddenly all this power comes rushing in,
Hmm.
suddenly in a surge of power. Once you are not, it's not possible that people don't get killed.
Hmm.
Like you're saying that Cyclops can't control his eye beams. The first time it happened, you're telling me he didn't shoot some kid's head off clean.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff like that. Like that alone is enough propaganda material for people to be like, no, this is the reason why we hate this morphos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's, so I needed to bring that, like, these are reasons why. These are reasons why.
And you did,
Yeah.
because the bigotry in this is like akin to God loves, man kills. And
Hmm.
like it's off the charts. And I was just imagining like when they were doing the interviews, I was like, okay, if they put this interview on Fox News, then the propaganda machine would then be running in real life. It would be full steam ahead. So
Yeah, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciate the how you pose these conflicts, especially like with mutants, how you put it, like they just get like all of a sudden this massive power rushing into them, and oftentimes like as a kid, like I can barely control my emotions, so I'm not gonna be
mm,
able to control like
Mm-hmm.
2 tons of power like that I just woke up with in a day,
yeah.
and for me it's always like really tragic to see, especially how you did it in this issue, like this kid is just like, hey, he's like I know I'm doing this, but I can't stop it, like I need
Mm-hmm.
help and like no one's helping me. Like, people around me have either been, eviscerated or like everyone's just like afraid to approach me. But I just need, and at the end of it, I loved how Storm just like gave the kid a hug and everything just like settled down.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's sometimes that's all it takes. Cause these at the end of the day, these are people who are dealing with the problem just like everyone else is. Like you're dealing with the,
They just need us, you just
yeah,
need someone to have faith in you.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Um, So I want to talk about, is there any type of scientific approach in your background? Because the way that she was neutralizing the pulses from the nuclear plant was very scientific. I had to pull up the Wikipedia page. I was like, okay, let me look into this because you have introduced something brand new to me and now I feel dumb. So is there any
It's
type
it's
of
it's
scientific approach?
it was funny when most of the reviews have been phenomenal, like
Mhm.
99% has been phenomenal. I saw some people trying to hate on the book and say that part about how she cancels the shock waves is
Mhm.
not scientifically correct. I'm a dumb piece of shit, blah 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 blah. You're like, I probably don't know my high school physics, and I'm like, I did physics up to college level, so I don't know
Mm,
what you're saying.
Mm.
Like I studied computer science and we did physics up to like 100 level, 200 level. So I know this. I know what I'm talking about. Like
Right.
it's interference of waves, So if you can create a countering wave with the right um like the narration says exactly the same, but
mhm.
in the
In the
direction,
opposite
everything, it
direction.
cancels
Yeah.
each other out.
Hmm.
Yeah, and other stuff. So it just depends on fine-tuning it, Sometimes you could do it and then you create a bigger shockwave,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
sometimes it's just subtle cancellation, but you can get complete cancellation when it becomes total zero. So, so it's something it's one thing I got from Ali Win's run, talking about, oh, it's all about versatility. It's a line that
Hmm.
Storm says. So it's like I wanted to play around with that part of our power. Like I want to use the versatility of our power sets. And I loved Avatar the Last Airbender, and I loved how the
Mm.
water benders and the airbenders and stuff like so. Yeah, that's where all that was coming from, like the slight understanding of science
Okay.
mixed with anime stuff like Avatar the Last Airbenders, because and anime won't stop, won't would always find the opportunity to like pause and then explain one power move to you,
Yeah.
and how it works. So just trying to do all that to elevate the character, because it's very easy to just do swoosh, 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 and it doesn't
Hmm.
feel as epic as if you describe what's actually going on the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, oh, go ahead, Demarcus.
I was gonna say I just really appreciate that because I didn't, had you not explained it, I'm like, oh, she's just like making more wind.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
and you
and
see it. And
and
the
this
people and the people who often, I'm sorry, Jeremy, one more thing. Like the people who often say, like, oh, like that's not possible, that's not how that works. I'm just like, look, first off, we're reading a comic book about a woman who controls the weather. So you're saying you can believe that, but you can't believe you cancel out these shockwaves?
right,
Like
right.
what?
Exactly.
And this part of this comic book was really epic because not only are you explaining this feat in physics, but like you're also saying that Storm can fine tune the like she can see how much of pressure or the shock wave
Hmm.
is coming towards her and instantly neutralize it with her power. So it just shows you how advanced and omega level she is.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
I want to talk about the three cameos that we had in this comic book. We already talked about some of Eternal and that final page. Shocker. I don't know what you're going to do with that. Golly. But then I want to talk about Frenzy and her inclusion in this comic book. Now, I love Frenzy. I love her redemption arc ever
Mhm.
since the Age of Krakoa, and I love to see her pop up. But like, why would you choose Frenzy to go with Storm on this mission in Oklahoma?
Multiple reasons. As all things, there's a subtle theme I'm trying to go with this story that I hope I'm able to accomplish. There's the fact that Storm herself is a former criminal, so
Mm.
she's someone that's open to that, and Frenzy also being a former criminal. Um, their relationship in Sword and X-Men Red, there's that. I like Frenzy.
Mhm.
The more external and superficial reasons, or the fact that I just love a badass babe that
Mhm.
has super strength, and I love the way the it's drawn. It's not drawn as braids, it's drawn more as dreads, but the
Hmm.
dreads are also like spiral in a weird way,
Mhm.
and I just love that. I said, Lucas, we need to keep this 90s spiral dread that's is drawn on our that we don't see as much. I don't think we even
Yeah.
saw it in the Craquara. Like the dreads are spiral in nature. So it's like curls dread. It's this weird texture I
Yeah.
really like. So there's that superficial reason. And I think she's the perfect person for a mission like this, of
Mhm.
people trapped under rubble. Like Storm lost her parents to that. And I think it's to her, it's like what when Batman's parents were shot in Crime
Mhm.
Alley. It's something she would have thought of over and over again, over and over again. She probably has a million game plans on how best to save people from this situation.
Mhm.
And she probably knew that, oh, in this kind of situation, I need somebody with super strength.
Right.
So she's not just running, gunning into this. She knows the perfect person for this kind of situation. So that kind of thing. So I know that she would know like how best to address it. So this is not something that she's going to like. This is not a mission that she's going to like wing it.
Hmm.
This is going to be a very efficient kind of thing, and that's when even when Frenzy asks her, like, are you sure you got this? And she's like, always,
Hmm.
this is something she's always prepared for all her life because of how important this cataclysm is in her life. So, and it's why I chose Frenzy. I think our power set is ideal for something like this. You don't want to move, even though she might be closer to like people like Logan or all these kind of
Hmm.
people, Rogue is busy, like I think Frenzy's strength, it's very ideal in this kind of situation.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So this first issue, well, this first issue starred a lot of women, and it is a woman driven comic that you're writing. Do you, I guess, what is your perspective on that? Like you being a black man writing a comic about a black woman, I guess, how do you try to, I guess, carry the female voice? Do you have any conflicts in writing about black women? How do you try to stay true to who and what black women are versus trying to, I guess, forming Storm into more of like a caricature.
Mm, I think it's helped that usually people are scared to as a male writer to write female characters.
Hmm.
People are usually scared and worried. But I think I kind of beat that fear years ago
Hmm.
because I recently just started writing male characters. Like when I
Oh.
was starting out in Nigeria, I wrote my grandfather was a god,
Hmm.
child female protagonist.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the characters I write female protagonists. When Marvel reached out to me about, oh, what characters would I like to write? The first was Iron Man,
Hmm.
and the rest were pretty much female characters. I said I would like to write Shuri one day.
Mm.
I said I want to write Storm. I would like to write Sif,
Mm.
Phyla-Vell, So a lot of the characters I actually really, really want to write are female characters.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, Vixen. So I like writing female characters. I
Nice. So this is
so
your bag. This is what
I,
you do.
I yeah, so yeah, I grew up with I have a brother, but he's like 14 years older than I am. So I grew up
Yeah.
mostly with my sisters, when my dad was away for a little while, it was always my mom and all stuff. So I do have that problem. Like for a long time I was not necessarily bullied, but I was even made fun of because I was always acting too girly at times. Lots of my best friends are always women and all this stuff. So that doesn't mean like I know women. I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
it's not as scary to approach as maybe uh, if I had a different background.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of
So
sense. Like
I was pretty comfortable with that.
yeah, you have a lot of women influence, it sounds like, around you. And so you know, you know the women that you grew up with, and and maybe you sort of like put them into the writing.
Yes, yes. Like even the content I consume, it's there's a lot of stuff that are women focused. Like I said, I read Law Olympus on
Hmm.
Webtoons, which is basically mostly female audience. It's a romance, this thing.
Hmm.
Free Reign, a female protagonist, we have
Yeah.
talked about. So all this kind of stuff. So yeah, so it doesn't feel super scary to me.
Nice. Yeah. And I like that because you're doing a great job. And I was just wondering, it's like, man, like how is he able to carry this like such a powerful female character? But it sounds like you like this is like I said, this is you're in your bag with this one, man.
Now, um, we all know that you wrote Iron Man for a long, long time. He is the third cameo that makes an appearance here in the comic book. Now, DeMarcus's favorite character, first or second, I'm not sure, is Iron Man, but I
Yeah,
just gotta
he's
know.
top three.
I just gotta know, um, will you be seeing more Iron Man or will you finally be able to let him go?
um when I pitched at first to Marvel, like I told you that this issue one was issue 5. Um, in those early issues, Iron Man showed up a lot. like a lot.
Mm.
And some reports had to say like, uh, this isn't an Iron Man book. You do know that, right? You know. So I was like, okay. He said, try to feature more mutants. If
Mm.
you're going to feature characters, try not to make Storm a supporting character in our own solo book. You know,
Hmm.
I, I know you really want to write a lot of all these characters, but try to focus on this character. And you know, so yeah, Iron Man doesn't so far Iron Man hasn't showed up yet again, so not much. But
Yeah.
I know I needed to put him in issue one at least.
Yeah. Okay, now I don't usually do this, but I read ahead the solicits for this book. I mean, I had to know what was going to go on with Eternity,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I saw Doom is coming back. And if
Hmm.
you know anything about Storm and Doom, like they resolved the conflict because Doom basically likes her so much that it
Mm.
Hmm.
actually,
Hmm.
it actually, okay, Doom was like, okay, I'm done with that, but you're gonna have dinner with me tonight, right? So like Doom is coming. We saw Eternity. What other big characters or small characters from Storm's past can we look forward to seeing? If you could tell us, of course.
Yeah, I think um issue two is Dr. Voodoo. Um
Mm.
Issue three, we're getting the Uncanny X-Men with
Okay.
the one that Gail Simon is writing. That's
Uh-huh.
Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit,
Kitty, yeah. No, not
yeah,
Kitty. Rogue and
not
Gambit,
kidding.
yeah.
Yeah, and issue four is Doctor Doom.
I can't
And
wait.
this is the third time that they're going to have a dinner date. And
Ah!
Mm.
and and it might be it might probably be the last time because what happens is going to be so brutal. So
Oh.
brutal, man. Like okay. So
You don't have to spoil it
uh
for us. You don't have to spoil it.
yeah, issue five, we see Oblivion.
Ooh, okay.
Oblivion, issue six, Maggots.
Okay, I
Um
love maggots.
Uh, should I stop at six or say seven?
Stop
Yeah.
at six. Stop at
Stop at
six. Stop at
six.
six. Because I'm about to go insane over here. We gotta go back to brutal. Like, don't say nothing but brutal. Doom. Like, I love the dinner dates between Storm and Doom, but oh no, I don't want those to end, but brutal. And if you don't know, Doom is now the Sorcerer Supreme. So it's
Yeah.
that. No, don't shake
Mhm.
your head. Don't nod.
I
I'm
don't
waiting spoilers. I
I don't
do want spoilers.
you Jerry, you say you enjoy Storm going on these dates with Doom. I don't like it. I'm tired of Storm going on dates with these white men. My favorite Marvel relationship is Storm and Black Panther, and I want you.
Mm,
I know you probably already got all the issues planned out, but get them back together, Murewa. That's
no,
that's that's my. I'm pleading with you to get them
no,
back together.
don't. Don't. Storm was the worst thing for Wakanda. Storm's not with a human. Let's keep that relationship going. I don't like Storm and T'Challa at all. Point
They
blank,
was
It's
period.
they
Storm and
look they were.
Eternity now.
It's who?
It's Storm and Eternity now.
Oh, he's gonna date Eternity.
I didn't
Okay.
say dates. I
Remember that issue too of
Hmm.
Wrath of the Gods. But okay. Are there gonna be any sex scenes in this? Because we know that you like sex scenes in
yes,
com.
Mm.
yes,
Oh!
yes,
Oh, this comic is rated M for
yes,
mature.
yes, yes. I was so happy
Okay.
we got the green light for it. So yes.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Okay. So maybe you met
Mhm.
Brutal in another different way.
Storm issue three.
Okay.
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 Storm issue
So
3.
don't miss it.
Oh
Mhm.
God. All right, guys. we are getting into heavy spoiler territory, and I want to, but I don't want to. So we need to go ahead and end this conversation right here. DeMarcus, do you have any other questions?
No, no, I'm so excited. Like we talked about a lot of stuff, and you have me excited for this comic. I tried out the first issue, and now after talking to you, I'm adding it to my pull list. Like I'm
Yeah,
getting it every month.
yeah. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of spoiler stuff. I'm super excited. So let's take a quick break and come back with our quick fire round of questions. Yeah. Maria, I hope you're ready for these. Hi, everybody in BGE land. We have a Patreon now.
If you want more Black Geek Energy, you can just pony up them three buckaroonies for our Patreon.
Yeah, it is
That's
$3.
That's it's a little easy cup of coffee. If you live in California, that's 2 cups. You can get half a cup of coffee and use the other $3 to pay for BGE because coffee is expensive out here for some reason.
We're like cheaper than a gallon of gas in California.
Oh, way cheaper. Way like $2 cheaper.
So they need to go ahead and give us the money. Like it's not even that much.
Hey, and because for our fans, for our listeners, y'all want more stuff from us. We want to give you more stuff, and it's gonna take a little capital. It's gonna take a little bit of that cheddar to make this thing spreader.
What? All right, and we're gonna have on here live D&D episodes where you can listen to the full episode of our D&D, what we talk about in the recaps, and we are going to have some insidery stuff about us.
Yeah, like BGE After Dark, where we talk about our dating lives or Jared's non-existing dating life.
Marcus.
We gonna have,
and we're gonna talk about pop culture stuff.
Yeah, BGE Pop, where we talk about stuff that's going on like right now, like who's dating who and who's gonna be playing in the next movies and stuff. So Jared cares about that dating stuff. I don't really care.
Wow.
I don't care about who's dating who. Like when they're like,
but it's not just who's dating who. It's like
Jonathan Majors dating Megan Good. Okay, so he's not Kang the Conqueror no more. That's what I care about.
Wow.
Ooh, and we're gonna do some games. We'll have like some different games and different setups and stuff. We'll watch.
What?
We gonna react. We gonna react to some stuff. We gonna have some reacts.
Okay, now this is all something we didn't talk about.
Maybe. All right. So some of the stuff we still gotta discuss. I'm just throwing it out there. We spitballing. I'm spitballing, bro. Brainstorm.
So follow our Patreon so you can hear what we actually decide on. And
Jared. Can we play online board games together?
How would that be fun for the listeners?
Invite people, because if it's like a good conversation while we're playing the games, it'll be great. If it's anything like when we play D&D, it'll be fun.
All right,
we can invite people to play board games with us.
Try to end this, because now you're just saying whatever stupidity comes into your brain.
It's not stupid.
So anyways, follow our Patreon. Listen in to see what kookiness that we come up with. BG Patreon out.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that for the Patreon.
All right, everybody. I'm back with Murewa. So sorry. I'm horrible with names. And we are going to do our quick fire questions. Remember, if you have any questions, you can contact us. All the links are going to be down below. But let's get started. I have 17 questions for you based on our conversation and based on some episodes that we have done in the past. They're quick fire, so you can only answer with yes or no or short phrases, but we want to hear your explanation for these answers. Like, we want to hear why you've chosen these, but you can just say yes or no, whatever. All right, are you ready?
Okay, I think I am.
Okay, number 1. What superpower would you have?
Probably super healing. Like Wolverine.
Yourself or others?
For myself, because I grew up with bad health.
Fair enough. I was like, oh, he's so altruistic. Like no one's ever said
No,
like
I'm
a power to help
selfish.
other.
I want to be sure I'll live long.
Okay. Professor X or Magneto?
Ah, Professor X. I know
Yes,
he's an asshole, but
finally.
Oh no.
I know he's an
Really?
asshole, but nah.
Wow.
Next
Storm
question.
hates Professor X
Next
though.
next question.
Oh
Next
Mm-hmm.
question.
man. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
The man
Um,
said what he said, Jared.
okay, okay, okay. Is Avatar, no, is Avatar Korra a good avatar?
Yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree as well. Um, is Batman a supervillain?
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay, okay,
Right.
okay. Favorite Storm costume?
Jim Lee.
Mm,
Hmm.
okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Favorite Storm lover?
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Uh, hmm. Uh, I have to say something controversial. I'll go with Wolverine.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. She showed the most love to Wolverine while they're in
You
that
think
book.
so?
Yes, I think so. Yes, especially when Wolverine died. Hmm.
Okay,
Mm,
okay. I
and
respect it.
mm,
Hmm. No, no, what were you gonna say?
uh, and I think when writers write them as a couple, they don't tend to reduce Storm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, favorite anime characters to ship?
Mm, probably Midoriya and Gravity Girl.
Mm,
Ooh.
okay.
Yeah. I don't think we see enough of their like relationship in the show. Like they are so cute
Mm-hmm.
together. I love them.
Um, favorite anime theme song, beginning or ending?
Ah. Oh yeah, Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, that's a good
That is
one.
a good one. That is a
That's a
good one.
good one.
Mm.
Adventure Time or Steven Universe?
Oh, oh. Adventure Time has the best overall show, but
Hmm.
Steven Universe towards the end became this emotional thing that you can every episode is this gut punch.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
but because Steven Universe wouldn't exist without Adventure Time, I would say
Mm.
Mm.
Adventure Time.
Okay, okay.
That's-
What is the best anime to watch for a first-time viewer?
Hmm. Probably Naruto.
Okay,
That's
Naruto.
a solid answer. I feel like we heard
Um,
someone say Attack on Titan before, and I was like, that's like you don't love
No,
people at
that's
all.
um, do you watch Naruto?
no.
Oh man.
And you shouldn't.
Ah, stop, stop, stop. All right. Um, best dad, Goku or Vegeta?
I don't know. I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z.
Hmm. I mean, it's cool. Um, how do you feel about race or gender swapping from comic books to the big screen?
If it's still good, I'm okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Besides Storm,
Mhm.
who is your favorite Black superhero?
Probably Voodoo.
Okay, all right.
Mm.
Um, Now, who is your favorite Black character who isn't Black?
Hmm. I would say Iron Man is honorably black because all his supporting characters are black.
Mm, okay. We were thinking, I guess for this question, we think more people like Piccolo or like Panthro who,
Oh, oh,
yeah,
like who shows black characteristics but are
yeah, but
not black,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
honorary black.
yeah.
Ah, oh man, I can't think of one. Hmm. I can't think of one right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all
No,
right.
that's
It's all
okay.
right.
That's okay. I'm just popping these up on you. All right. Who is your favorite
Mhm.
rapper turned actor?
Probably Ice Cube.
Mm,
Okay.
he is in a lot of movies.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. All right. And finally, turn the page here. Oh, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. It's a new one. 30 seconds. Name five Black comic book characters who do not have lightning powers. All right.
Um,
30 seconds starting now.
um, EXO, Voodoo, Vixen,
Mm,
um, mm, the Green Lantern in Far Sector, um, and my boy, War Machine.
mm.
Yes.
Okay, okay. That was pretty easy. When you said that it was a new, I haven't even heard that one before. And when he said without lightning powers, that was like three people that I couldn't name. I'm like, those are my go-to ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, you have passed the quickfire challenge. Remember, guys, you can ask us uh, any question. You can send them to blackgeekenergy@gmail.com. We are also on all the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, um, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Threads at Black Geek Energy. And we're on Twitter at BG_pod. Remember now, we have a Patreon where we are going deep into our Dungeons and Dragon playthroughs and some fun stuff between just us where we
Mhm.
were. Like, thank you so very much for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. We know that you are incredibly busy with this new comic book and with writing your new comic book, Storm. And yeah, this book was an amazing read for me. You have got me super excited for what is about to come. I can't believe I have to wait a whole month to reach number two. Like, that's crazy. And I'm super duper extra excited. And I mentioned this on the break. What you are doing with not um featuring a villain and with featuring the internal conflicts of Aurora Monroe. I think that that just shows how much research you have done into the character and how talented of a writer you are. Of course, I know we're excited for the sex scene, but but
A different type of conflict.
yeah, a different type of conflict, a different type of friction. But
Mhm.
can you tell us
hmm
where can our listeners find you on the internet and how can they support you?
um at on I'm mostly on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well, but I'm mostly on Twitter. I answer questions if you shoot questions at me at Ayodele Murewa. And yeah, that's basically it. And just buy Storm Comics. If you have the extra cash, buy a couple of variants,
Mm.
let's get to tell the bittersweet end of this beautiful tale.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I
Man,
hope it never ends. All right, DeMarcus, any final words?
man, this has been one of the best guest shows we've had, hands down. Like Murewa, I've enjoyed talking to you so much, and thank you again for coming on the show, just bringing your insights and like giving us sort of like the behind the scenes of this first issue of Storm. Um, I think a lot of things that we've talked about today have been around just like what makes a hero and what do heroes do besides just battling villains. And I'm excited to see that just like Jared is in the upcoming comics. And I think people should add this to your pull list, get every issue, um, and just be mindful. Like I think it sounds like what we're going to see from Storm here is her being a hero in completely, I guess, normal ways. Like, how
Yeah.
can you do it
Mm-hmm.
and take that into your lives? Take that in, that's for our listeners, take that into your lives with you. You don't need to be able to control the weather to be a hero. You just need to give somebody a hug sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that will be the end. Thank you for listening. VGE out. All right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
What's happening, my fellow geeks out there? It's a new year. Welcome to 2024. New me, or the same you. Uh, you know, however you want to play it this year. Um, I am here to tell y'all that I am in a much better space mentally, and a lot of that is due to getting, I'm not going to say the help I need, but having someone to talk to objectively, like that third party who's just there to give you advice and not really trying to put their own judgment on you, and also like kind of helping you, think through some of your thoughts. Maybe you're an external processor, maybe not. Um, but you can do all of these things with BetterHelp.com. So you can be in the same place I am. You can be in a better place than I am. You can improve the way you think and the way you approach situations just by having someone to talk to about it that is not there to judge you, that is available at the send of a text, that you can switch them out as if it's not working. If they're not giving you the advice you need, you can just say, hey, better help, give me someone else, and they'll find you someone else to partner with. Tell you it's an amazing service. And if you tell them we sent you, you're going to get a discount. Because why would we tell you to go if we're not going to hook you up? So go to betterhelp.com/BGEpod and tell them DeMarcus sent you. All right. And I am going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, y'all.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Oblivion, Eternity, Maggots coming back. So is he okay? Don't tell me because I gotta read it. I gotta read it. I gotta read it. I
Yeah.
love Maggot. I love him to death. Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
it's it's
like,
it's it's a really exciting series.
yeah. So
Like
like,
I'm always excited to like start writing. Like I'm writing, I've plotted like 11 issues now, but I'm currently scripting issue 7.
mm,
And when you freeze because you're so excited to write what is happening in issue 9 instead, so it's like a lot of exciting stuff. You're going to like it.
yeah, I love the first issue of this. So I know I'm gonna like it because I'm a huge Storm fan, and this is like the first time that like a Storm comic book wasn't just like Storm against this enemy, Storm against that enemy. Like the fact that there are no enemies in the first
Mm-hmm.
issue, and all of this is in internal struggle and
Mm-hmm.
just conflicts within herself and her and the mutants and her versus the humans. It's like this is crazy. This is crazy because I always think that the best books are ones where a villain or a conflict teaches the main character about themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you are
Mm-hmm.
proving that you can do that. But yeah, yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
super excited about what's going to happen in this book. So, let me ask you, is this comic going to have anything to do with their um return to Graymalkin, the X-Men line that's going on or about to happen?
No, even though
Okay.
I think it starts in December. She would
Hmm.
visit them just before the raid.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to the show. This is the last segment. In five, four, three, two,